not to say that you approached this show anything but seriously, but did you find that you changed a little bit? Maybe you approached it, yeah, this is kind of going to be fun, and we'll kind of hack around here a little bit, and we'll do this and that. Did you find yourself like somewhere along the line all of a sudden, oh man, I want this.
Yeah.
I mean, I really want to win or whatever.
Yeah, I did. I mean, that's the only reason that they probably even, wanted me to be on the show, was to crack jokes. They knew I wouldn't be afraid to rip on Christina. I don't care if she likes it or not, and I still don't. But what ended up happening after more time went on is the four of us as coaches, and I hate calling us coaches, but the four of us actually we really did become friends, and it was it's such an odd group of people, you know what I mean? I mean, as far as, we are not, none of us, are anything alike, but we all have a mutual respect for each other, and because of that, we all have become friends, and when that happened, then what normally happens with friends is, we'll argue and we'll bicker, we'll make fun of each other, we'll get mad at each other, we do all the things, but at the end of the day, there's still a high five and a hug, and I'll see you tomorrow, And that was the first thing that happened, and then the next thing that happens is you get to know these people on your team, and it hurts when one of them has to leave, and it's exciting when one of them moves forward, and next thing you know, you're down to this. It all pours into one person for you, and even Adam, who he probably hadn't cried in 10 years, you know what I mean? He's a rock star. He's a badass, He's down there. He's like, we had a commercial break after Javier and Stevie Nicks sang together, and I went down there, and man, he's like, man, I can't do this. I mean, this is really tough. I'm trying not to look like an idiot on TV, And I was like, well, if it makes you feel any better, it's too late. You look really stupid right now.
Well, but that was so much of the rawness and the real emotion, and I wondered at points if it had surprised you guys that, wow, I didn't know I was going to feel this way. I didn't know, because it's funny, the premise. I mean, you guys are all competitive, obviously, to be in this business just to start with. And all of a sudden they put you in a situation where you're competitive with one another, and you had to choose the act, and then the act had to choose you, and it was just, I thought it was pretty brilliant. I've never been much of an idol watcher, to tell you the truth. I mean, in and out,
Sure.
But in this case, obviously I watched it early on because of you, and then I got really sucked into it. And I think the thing that got me was that this was fun. Where some of these other talent contests don't have that fun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what we had a meeting back in March, the very first meeting of all of us together, and with the producers and the network. And the one thing that Adam and I agreed on immediately and wouldn't back down on is that we don't want to make this into anything but fun and positive. We don't want to have a singer on there that sucks and we make fun of them. You know what I mean? We want this to be positive. And we stuck to our guns about that.
And that really came through.
Well, good, because, we no matter what the show wants us to do or the network, when you go live, we steer the ship whether they like it or not,
I'm sure.
But I think, not that they were arguing with us, but it was just there was no room to negotiate there. It was, man, these kids, I wouldn't have had the nerve to get up there and do what they do. And I've read, a time or two, and me, it's all I can do not to fire back at somebody, but like some critic saying, ripping on one of the contestants, hiding behind their laptop somewhere in their basement of their mom's house where they work out of, and ripping on these kids, you know what I mean, for something they did or a cover. And it's like, man, if you had half the nerve or knew what these kids go through, you wouldn't say stuff like that, And so I know I'm babbling on here, but there's just a lot that goes into that, and I think everybody comes out of it, including the coaches, having learned a lot,
Well, it was great fun, and that's what separated it for me, and so just some of the things like CeeLo coming out in the wig and doing a '70s song, and I mean, and
the last two episodes or the last 2 weeks, CeeLo was the only thing that got me through the show, especially the night that Senya had to leave the show. Man, that was a rough night for me because I love that little girl so much, and CeeLo came out in that wig, and he was so excited about having bangs, and he was not going, nothing would do until those bangs came down in front of his forehead, and just watching him, bobbing his head trying to get that piece of hair down there where he wanted it. Me and Adam were both, we laughed until we cried right there. We just couldn't stop ourselves, That guy's, we always say CeeLo lives in CeeLo land. And if you're ever around him, man, you won't do anything but smile the whole time.